Hi, my name is Victor. I'm originally from the United States. Ever since I was literally a baby, I always wanted to live in a beautiful tropical destination. I love tropical weather. So I was living in New York, and as I got older, I just kept on wanting to leave New York, the cold winters, high crime, and I had my sights set on Miami, Florida, which is where I moved to. One thing I noticed year after year after year, the cost of living was getting higher. When I first moved to Miami, I was paying about $600 a month in rent for a really nice apartment. I was living in Miami Springs, right next to the Miami International Airport. So it was getting so outrageous, the prices, that unfortunately and reluctantly, I had to end up leaving Miami. And from there, I moved to another beautiful tropical destination, Honolulu, Hawaii. I was living in Waikiki. Now, one time in Waikiki, I remember I had gone out for lunch with my friend. We just went to an ordinary restaurant, nothing fancy, couple of burgers, couple of cans of Coke. The bill came out to like $80, and I at that point I said to myself, there has to be places in the world where I can live, that I can get the same high quality of living, like Miami, like Hawaii, but substantially cheaper. That's what brought me, not only me, but several of my friends here to Southeast Asia. I live in Philippines, and also I live in Vietnam. I have friends who are living in Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, etc. Now, one piece of advice I'll give you: do not ever open a physical business here. If it's so inexpensive to live here, what do you think the local wages, the local salary will be like? Don't make the mistake of opening a business here. What you can do, the best thing, work online. And again, there's a lot of misleading information out there. YouTube videos, other YouTube channels, they're very misleading. They're blatantly dishonest because they just want views and subscribers. Truth be told, about 90% of uh, these other YouTube channels, about 90% of the ways they're telling you you can make money online, 90% do not materialize. They're just nonsense. But there are about a solid 25 to 30 things you can do online that not only me, but several of my friends who have moved here have been doing for the past several years. They're sustainable. And again, not only me, but several of my friends have been doing them. So, in other words, we have the experience, the knowledge, and as a result, many people consult with us daily, seeking our advice, our guidance, our opinion to make them have a seamless transition from their country to this part of the world. Because I'm here to tell you that if, and that's a big if you know what you're doing, you too can live the life of your dreams here in Southeast Asia, just like me and my friends, and literally work 2 or 3 hours a day, have a life of leisure like you're on vacation every day, the life of your dreams. Make no mistake about it. But again, if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be a quick one way ticket back home. Let's get started. Our contact information is in the description box below. We do get many inquiries daily, but we do make the effort to get back to each and every one of you. In today's video, in this video, I discuss how it's really important to help the less fortunate people that I see here in the Philippines. And what I mean by that, let me give you an example. A few years ago, I was living in Davao City, and I was at this nice outdoor cafe having some nice, cold, refreshing drink. And I saw this elderly woman who she couldn't even walk straight. Like she was like slouched over. And this elderly woman was selling lottery tickets, scratch off lottery tickets. And I really felt bad when I saw her. She must have been at least in her 80s, slouched over, and selling these lottery tickets. You know, it really almost brought me to tears because at that moment I was thinking of like my own mother. And what I did was I bought 10 of them from her, and I bought her lunch, and I just told her to keep the tickets. I didn't want any of the lottery tickets. And, you know, in cases like that, when you're seeing elderly people, handicapped people, people who are missing an arm or a leg, you really have to help them. You really do. Another time, more recently, I was stuck in traffic in Manila, stuck at a red light, and I saw this young woman carrying a child, like an infant, no less, a very young baby in her arms. And while she was carrying her young child in her arms, she was selling bottles of water or a snack, something like that. And of course, I felt so bad. So I did buy something. Actually, the bottle of water was like 10 pesos. I just gave her 100, told her to keep the change, and just to see her big smile. I mean, it was really, it really almost brought me to tears myself. Those type of people. I mean, at least she's trying. She's doing something, right? Carrying a baby, nonetheless, in the incredibly hot sun. So those types of people you have to help, but at the same time, I think it's you shouldn't enable everybody. Like, I see these perfectly healthy man or woman begging for money. I think you're doing them more harm than good by giving them money. You're just enabling them. And again, certain people, you do have to help a certain segment of the population: elderly, handicapped. If you see these street vendors, at least they're trying, right? At least they're trying. So, but again, I think it's really important. I did see these young kids, and I was tempted to give them money when I first arrived here in the Philippines, like really young kids. I was tempted to give them money, but somebody told me it's not a good idea because they're actually doing that because their perfectly healthy parents are making them do that. And I also, in that case, I think it's also not a good idea because you're just enabling them. I mean, if you see a perfectly healthy person, they have to work. Even foreigners, there's this perception I think I've seen in some Asian countries like Philippines that foreigners are rich. It's not true. We have to work for our money as well. Nobody is giving us free money. That's it for this edition of Southeast Asia Vibes, The Good Life. Until next